I am 22 years old. I moved out on my own at 19. I started trading at 17. First real workout back from being sick, still a little sick, but you know what? Fuck that. This was a great trade idea. I called out for the team. I also took the trade and I also withdrew also. If you watch the last two vlogs, I've made over $5,400 in the last two trades in the last 2 days. $200 days became $500 days. $500 days became $1,000 days. $1,000 days became 2,000. 2,000 became 4. 4 became 5. 5 became 10. 10 became 20. Because this is the question. People always ask how much money did I have before I moved. I had a decent amount of money before I moved. I remember when I first had the thought I want to start moving, I had about. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today it is Wednesday, I'm pretty sure. Today is the 16th. It is July 16th. It is Wednesday. It is 9 in the morning. And in 30 minutes, we're going to be live with the team. Now, I'm not going to be taking no trades because, as you guys know, if you watch the last two vlogs, I've made over $5,400 in the last two trades in the last 2 days. And I had a withdrawal yesterday. So you know what? You guys know my rules. 2 days in a row if I win, I'm not taking a trade on the third day. 2 days in a row if I lose, I'm not taking a trade the third day. So I'm just going to follow the rules, follow the process. I'm going to show up for the team, call out some trades for them just so that they can get some trade ideas and everything. But besides that, I'm not going to be taking trades. So it's probably not going to be too much charts. But I do want to show you guys a trade from yesterday. So if you didn't watch yesterday's vlog, make sure you go check that out because it's still playing. And if I would have been holding, I would still be in profit. I would be around TP3 if I held and held and held. It looks like it went further, but let me show you. This was a trade I took yesterday. I got out the trade at TP2. The trade ended up running all the way down to at least TP8 yesterday. And then right now, we came all the way back up. We're around this TP3 area. But neither here nor there. This was a great trade idea. I called out for the team. I also took the trade and I also withdrew also. We're about to be live. So yeah, no days off. Let's get straight to work. If you want to get access to this, you already know what to do. Apply in the first link in the description and you can join this team. It's off of everything. What about him? I don't feel like trading him today. I could trade him, but I would rather just paper trade him. Minutes to the open and we slowly pushing. I mean, it's doing exactly what I figured it would. Did NAS give a little retracement? No, not retracing yet. Good idea. I mean, this retracing might as well. I think 30 retraced into it though. Here, we gonna have a big size in here. We gonna have a 50 point, no, this on NAS. 30 point stop on NAS right here. Hey, yo, I put, okay, stop loss did not work on that trade. Get in again. Not sure where that stop loss I went. Stop loss, I'm gonna put it for about 30 points. TP, best case would be that produces high. Now, it could, I want it to go up though. I mean, I'm bullish just like you are. It hit the 4 hour now, so I mean, I got no reason to believe it won't go up now. Bro, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Listen, I'm in here with you. 4 hour gap trade. If this hits stop loss, I'm going bankrupt. Hey, if you took sales, you might be hitting right now because this trade idea is getting fried turkey. Getting fried turkey. Yeah, listen to the US 30 trade idea here. Look, retrace push. Ew, why is it dropping like that? Yeah, you NAS do be on that bullshit. Man, this shit falling. I'm taking the US 30 trade idea also when it retraced. Stop loss below this low on 30. Both of these trade ideas are valid in my opinion. I'm just watching both of them on US 30 NAS. But I like them both. They're both trades I would have taken on my live account. I wouldn't have taken them both at the same time, but for the sake of paper trading and seeing how this is gonna play out, that's why I'm taking both. These are my only two trade ideas of the day. Now we gonna see what they do. This one's a drawdown. I'm coming down and I should die. All right, fuck you now. 30 is my last bet. 30 is holding, I ain't gonna lie. 30 looks like it's the one that's gonna push. Like you said, Bells, NAS be on some bitch shit. I don't know why. Yeah, it's looking just like a bearish New York session. I'm bullish for all these trade ideas, but right now we just not trying to hit. GG's, yeah, GG's on that trade. Hey, I guess they both just having fun today. I'm glad I paper traded because I would have got fried. All right, let's see. Bells got into a trade. He's in longs. Everything's on Bells right now. All the pressure, all the way. All the pressure. What's going to happen? He has no stop loss. I'm not sure why there's no stop loss, but maybe it's part of his system. All right, team. Right now, I am in the car. I'm thinking I'm about to go to Mercedes because I want to kind of talk to the people like in the finance department, see everything that I need to get the car under like the business name because that's what I'm looking to do with the next car that I get. And I just want to understand everything that's going to be required in terms of paperwork, in terms of documentation, statements, whatever I'm going to have to prove and everything. I want to know what is needed beforehand so I don't go into anything just unprepared. I want to have everything ready so that once I figure out what car I want, I can really make something happen in terms of all of that side. Because, you know, you can have the money for a car, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get it. Trust, you can have money and you can still have other problems. That's something that you don't realize until you're put in a situation where you have money and you can't get certain shit. But with that being said, I don't know if I'm gonna record much at Mercedes. I might get a little bit of something. It's not gonna be too long of a trip, I'm assuming. But with that being said, I'm gonna go do that. That's the plan of action. And then I wanna get home and then I wanna talk to you guys about something specific, which is likely the title of this video. All right, I'm back at the crib, as you guys can see, and it's about that time. I was gonna go downstairs and get a workout, but my headset is dead. I don't feel like going down there recording and everything without no music, so we're about to get a workout on the balcony. We're gonna go crazy. I'm gonna do everything possible. I'm gonna give you guys a full body workout. I got this right here so the camera battery doesn't die, so I'm gonna show you guys everything that I do. This is gonna be my first real workout back from being sick. I'm still a little sick, but you know what? No more excuses. Fuck that. Let's get to work. And then after that, I do have to hop on a call with my team and everything. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll just kind of give you a little time lapse probably of that. And then from there, I want to talk to you guys about what I said I was gonna talk to you guys about. From the title of the video, we got things to talk about. I just got done being sick. Still probably sound sick, but we here. It's not it at all, but happy to be here. Could be, I think off of the numbers, like if I have, like I think I could see the recurring people. I would say it's depending on certain ones. Certain videos, I would say do average, like I would say like yesterday's video is probably very similar to the people that watched the day before, but it's usually like the one-off videos that get pushed off that kind of branch off into the new people, if that makes sense. It's not like every video, but it's the every so one. Like let me see, for example, the 31K in 2 days, that one did better. How to replace your 9 to 5 with trading, that one, it's like odd one outs, and then other ones are probably, like you said, around the same amount of people, 100%. I feel like it's definitely, I think it's very random. Like sometimes, like if I'm doing something like with calls, I might just like refer to it, but even then it's like kind of, usually with the calls, but beginning and end, and then probably every so often in the middle if there's like a call or something. Who was it for, if you mind asking? Because if I could look at myself to kind of see how they be moving, if that makes sense. Because from the consumer point of view, the audience only sees what they put out. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I always like to look at people and see how they do stuff, like their stories, reels, the type of content, all of that type of thing. And now that the workout is complete, let me make sure this is some good lighting and everything. I think it should be valid, but we got the workout, and now it's time for us to talk about my exact journey, because I had a comment specifically on the YouTube video and it said talk about your journey before you did the content, before all of that stuff. So I'm just going to give you guys a brief little summary of what life was like leading up to me being able to move out on my own, what life was like leading up to me being able to leave my first time going full-time as a trader, moving to Florida at 19 years old, all of that stuff. So I'm just gonna get straight on into it. So right now I am 22 years old. I moved out on my own at 19. I started trading at 17. So I'm not gonna go over the story too much, but I'm gonna kind of talk about different periods, how I got to better situations, how I changed my situation, all of that stuff. So at 17, I started learning how to trade. Started doing all the research when it comes to candlesticks, everything on YouTube, trying to get courses, getting different mentors, just studying, because during this time that I was 17, it was 2020. This was during COVID. Everything was locked down. I didn't have a job. I was home all day, had nothing but technology and time. That is what then led me to start trading. That's what then led me to try to find a way to make money, because I didn't take my SATs. I was the person in high school. I knew I wanted more for myself. I just didn't know what it was. I knew I didn't want to work a job. I knew I didn't want to take any, I didn't want to listen to nobody else. I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I tried drop shipping. I thought real estate was gonna be the move, but I needed money to get into real estate to do what I really wanted to do. One thing led to the next. I found trading, and now, fast forward, 19 years old, I saved up enough money. Sorry if I have a couple voice cracks, I'm still a little bit sick. But 19 years old, I saved up a little bit of money. What did I save up my money from? Because this is the question. People always ask, how much money did I have before I moved? I had a decent amount of money before I moved. I remember when I first had the thought I want to start moving, I had about $30,000 saved up, and that was me at 19 years old. How did I get that money? I was working, I wouldn't even say full time, but I had a full salary. I was working 5 hours a day, every single week, 5 days a week at UPS. I was a supervisor and I was getting paid $21 an hour. So I was making a little bit of money from there. Mind you, I'm living with my parents at the time. I'm 19, I have no bills, and I've been out of school for 2 years now. I had COVID money. I had a couple of different things that I've just stacked up. The only thing I ever really bought up to this point that was expensive was my car. That was really it. At this point, I didn't really have that much. I think right before I moved out, I had got my laptop. But in the beginning, I didn't have much expenses, which allowed me to save up money. I was doing things such as trying different side hustles, selling things that I had, just doing stuff like that to try to make some money so I can then use that to do stuff, right? I was working UPS. I was trading. Where was the money coming from with trading? I did a couple live accounts here and there, but the main thing that allowed me to make some money at this point was prop firms, specifically FTMO. I didn't use any other prop firm at this time besides FTMO. I got a couple payouts with FTMO. I had money saved up. I had some money from COVID. I had some money from my job. I had some money from just doing all these different things and saving up, not really doing much with it. And then after a while, I started accumulating money. I started accumulating some net worth. Right? And at this point, I just wanted to be out on my own. I knew by putting my back against the wall, I'm going to force myself to only grow. I knew it was going to be stressful. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be uncomfortable because it's in a different environment. But I knew deep down, I want to become a trader. I want to do this full time, and I want to be able to move out to Florida. I didn't want to be in Philly. I already knew I wanted to be in Florida. That's just something I wanted for myself. I don't know why. I just wanted to be in Florida. So I took the leap. I had some money saved, and immediately I just started looking at apartments, and I booked and I signed the lease for an apartment. I had good credit at the time because this is another thing I was focusing on. Around that age of 17, I started learning about credit so that when I turned 18, I already knew what to do. I became an authorized user under my grandma, which is free game to help you and get a boost when it comes to starting up your credit. So I immediately was in the 700s, and I did the right things in terms of card utilization, in terms of getting the right credit cards to get my credit limits up so that I actually could take advantage of my credit. So I had good credit, and I was able to get this apartment. I was able to sign the lease before I ever even stepped foot. I never stepped foot in my first apartment before I literally signed the lease. But that's how bad I wanted it. That's how bad I knew I wanted to move. And I was paying $2,200 a month for rent at that place. I had saved up a little bit more money by the time I got to actually move out there, because from me having the $30,000 and starting to look for the apartment, I had saved up more money over the next span of maybe a month or two. So I saved up even more. And then from there, August 2022, I took the leap of faith and moved out on my own. I had no more job. I stopped working at UPS. I had the option to transfer from the UPS in Philadelphia to the one in Tampa, which I am now. But I just said, you know what? I'm going to take the leap of faith. I'm going to go for it. I've never not worked before. I've never just worked by myself. I never had bills. I never had none of that stuff. But it was time I was going to learn. It was time I was going to go through the real stuff, because I had made money in trading at this point. I wasn't rich, but I was able to make enough to live on my own. I was able to make enough to support myself. I was able to make enough to have enough confidence to replace my job. And that's all that mattered, because it was going to allow me to go into the next era in my life that I was going to have a whole lot of obstacles, a whole lot of struggles that was only going to create me into the person that I am today. So that's what happened from 17 to 19 years old. Fast forward ages 19 to 21, struggling. Everything downhill, not making as much money, having to go back to working jobs in Tampa because I went through all the money that I had saved. I went blowing funded accounts, blowing live accounts, doing all the things that didn't get me into the position that led me there. When I was 17 through 19, going to the gym every day, making YouTube videos. I wasn't getting a lot of views, but I had the habit and I had the things that were making me the person I was to be able to make the money with trading, to make the money with FTMO, right? To make money because I was working my job. So I was consistent in all the things I did. But once I left, 19, no more job. I stopped going to the gym. I was spending money, and I wasn't doing the things that was making me the person that was able to make the money. So I stopped making all that money. I had to downsize my apartment because I told you I had a $2,200 a month apartment, but I stopped making as much money. So once my lease was over a year later, After running through all of my savings, I had to downsize my apartment to spending less money on a cheaper apartment in a cheaper, like shittier area, because that's what I had to do. I didn't want to move back to my parents. I've already been out here for like a year and a half at that point. I was like, I'm not going back. I'm gonna figure it out. 20 years old, 21 years old. I was still in that phase of just trying to figure it out. Had to go to a couple different jobs, worked at Amazon, worked at Edible Arrangements, worked a couple different things. And then I knew how to trade at this point, but it's just I wasn't doing the things that was making me successful. I wasn't doing the things I needed to, even though I knew what I had to do. I just wasn't doing it. You can know exactly what to do and still not do it. You could tell yourself to do something and still not do it. So once I got to this point, I'm just literally like, okay, I'm in my own way. I need to get out my own way. I started going to the gym every day, started posting on content every day, started listening to my trading rules. And around this time in 2024, that's when I started doing the daily vlogs on YouTube. At this point, I had saved up enough money again, and I was like, you know what? I already don't have that much in bills. I don't need as much as I did the first time when I went full time because my bills aren't as much. So I went full time again. I had a little bit of money saved from just trading, from doing the things I'm doing, from working the job at not UPS, at Amazon. I was just doing a whole bunch of things, saving the money. I sold a whole bunch of old stuff. I sold a whole bunch of old camera equipment, sold a whole bunch of the things I bought when I did have money that I didn't need to be able to give me the money I needed to keep me in position of keeping my house, keeping my car, keeping all these different things, right? And that's when I started the daily videos. That's when I started documenting the journey again. And then from there, how I did one thing was how I did everything. And I didn't stop. I just kept going. $200 days became $500 days. $500 days became $1,000 days. $1,000 days became 2,000. 2,000 became 4. 4 became 5. 5 became 10. 10 became 20. That's how we kind of are where we are right now. I got my nice apartment again because I started making the money. I started doing the things that kept me in this position. I've known how to trade for a long time. I've been trading the same way for a long time. But I didn't have a great daily routine. I didn't have the discipline. I didn't have the patience. I didn't have everything I needed. I just was good on the charts. I didn't understand good money management on the charts and outside of the charts when it comes to bills, when it comes to trying to save money, when it comes to delegating, when it comes to having emergency money, all these different things, when it comes to buying luxury stuff. Like a lot of that stuff, I had to go through what I went through to become the person that I am now. And I don't regret none of it. That's like a brief summary of where I am, but right now, I'm just getting started. All the stuff I went through was to keep me in this position so I don't go through that again, so I don't have to downsize my apartment again, so I don't gotta sell nothing that I bought while I have the money again. I went through everything I did to be the person I am now, to not let that happen. I need you guys to understand that everything happens exactly how it's supposed to, not how you want it to. But with that being said, I'm about to go help my girlfriend make some food because I am hungry. Hungry as shit. She's gonna make like this pineapple teriyaki. Is gonna be nice. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see. But I'm gonna end the video off here. Hope you would enjoyed it. And this is how I literally went from 17-year-old broke, 19-year-old struggling to live out in Florida for the first time. How I went from making $100 in a trade to $1,000 in a trade to $10,000 in a trade. It's crazy because I'm only 22. I'm only getting started. I'm turning 23 next month though. Not gonna be able to say 22 for much longer, but I'll be able to see 23-year-old trader, 23-year-old trader does this, 23-year-old trader does that. I'm still young, and I'm only getting started. Sky's the limit. I love you guys. If you wanna work with me one-on-one to get access to the live trading sessions, to get access to me to help you make your first 5 figures trading, apply in the first link in the description. The second link is the free trading training, and the third link is the broker that I use every day. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys in tomorrow's daily video. Stay safe, stay busy, stay productive.